The worst thing you could do with any social media, if you're a content creator, is to not treat it like a business. It's a business. Everybody that worked with us just had to pretend that nothing happened. So that was like compounded. It was even more difficult. But I knew that if I did something stupid and that I would lose everything, right? So like if I opened my mouth, I could lose everything I worked so hard for. So if you're a YouTuber and you don't read your comments and you don't answer your comments, you're not learning anything. All I did in my whole entire life was work. Mm-hmm. I was always a go-getter, always an entrepreneur. I've worked my whole life. I didn't do all the cool things that my guests do. Mm-hmm. I'm so jealous. When I have a guest on and they tell me all the cool things they did, and I'm like, oh man, I didn't know it was work. You know, if I was to like find out I was ill tomorrow and I was sitting around, like, what would I feel like? Like I didn't live my life to the fullest.
Real quick, if you guys are enjoying the content, we're currently at 653 subscribers and pushing towards 1,000. Every sub helps more than you know. So thank you guys for the support, and now enjoy the episode.
So, you spent 25 years in the RV industry. In the beginning portion of your career, you spent it in sales and then switched it to the content creation side. What's that like?
Well, actually, I do both.
Yeah.
So I am in sales.
Mm-hmm.
I've been selling a brand of RV, Airstream, since 2003. And but I was with that company that sells this brand since 1997. So I have a long history, a long career there.
Wow.
But content creation started in 2008.
Mm-hmm.
For that company, that's when we started our YouTube channel for the store.
Yeah.
Back then, there wasn't much going on YouTube. You know, there was silly stuff of hamsters, gerbils, whatever. Just silly stuff that was on there. And we decided to do some type of RV content. But back then, I didn't like the way my voice sounded on camera. And I get made fun of a lot. Everybody says I sound like Raymond from Everybody Loves Raymond. So for those of you listening, it's not Raymond. But what we did was we would film silent videos of just me walking into an RV, opening up cabinets and sitting on a lounge, and edit it with music and put it on YouTube. 3-4 minute videos. And eventually I got more comfortable talking on camera. Things progressed, better equipment, better audio. And I would do full like hour-long nut and bolt video tours of an Airstream. And no one was doing that. This was like new. And when you have a small audience, you get a lot of criticism.
Definitely.
Right? Because no one knows you yet, right? You haven't like proven yourself. And you learn a lot. Like I'm one of the people that reads all the comments, and that's how people help me make a better show. But like go full circle now, 2025, I do a lot of short videos again.
Yeah.
Where I don't talk. And but we speed them up and we'll put music on it, make it fun, you know, and that allowed me to reach a huge audience. You don't realize it when you do videos on Instagram and Facebook and TikTok and you speak the English language, you're restricted on where that video's shown and played. It doesn't show up in all the different regions.
Yeah.
But if you don't talk, it's everywhere. So you could have explosive growth in a very short period of time just by not talking. It's unbelievable. But a lot of people see those videos and are like, oh, well, you know, you copied from Chinese sales videos. Well, we did that stuff a long time ago. It's just in vertical format, and it's fast and better resolution and better audio, and you can hear the clicks and the clunks of the cabinets closing. You know, but now in today's age, it's relevant. Back then when we did it, that's all I was comfortable doing.
It's interesting you say that because are you familiar with MrBeast?
Yeah, absolutely.
I saw him recently do a podcast with Mark Zuckerberg, and he actually pointed out the same point you were making, that Instagram actually pushes your video less with any words. He said, the most viewed video I have on my Instagram is me saying no words. And when I took a second to like sit back and take that in, I started looking at different shorts on Instagram versus how they performed on different apps. And I'm like, wow, those are the ones that do the best because of the point you made. not everybody in the world speaks English. You're reaching a much broader audience. The content itself is getting pushed out to everybody.
Yeah, people watch the videos that I do for education, but mostly entertainment. They're entertaining. You could watch, you could consume. Someone to sit down and watch a full 30-minute YouTube video, that's a commitment. You know, I could release 1 or 2 of those a week. If I start doing 2 a day, no one's going to watch them. No one has time to watch a half-hour, hour-long video several times a week, unless they really love that person, that YouTuber, and there's a storyline that's so intense and they want to see what's coming next. That's not the type of content I'm creating. But I could do 20 short videos a week and 2 long-form videos a week, and someone says, I'll just watch 1 real quick. Next thing you know, they watch 20 videos, short videos, without even knowing it. But it does get served to all the markets. And my long-form YouTube videos that I do now, YouTube started earlier this year dubbing them in many different languages. So I have 10 different languages that,
Wow.
you know, and that's for anybody on YouTube, as long as you say that it's okay for them to dub it. So you could be in India and watch one of my videos and understand what I'm saying. You could be in China. You could be anywhere that YouTube is currently dubbing your voice in different languages and watch my video. And I've seen a big tick up in growth on my long form videos because of that. So thank you, YouTube. But the ad revenue is pretty low in some of those other countries, so you're not making much money, but you're getting new subscribers.
Yeah, which is really cool. And it's honestly genius that you said that, because I've talked to a lot of people and nobody else has ever brought up that point to me. I kind of held it dear to my heart, so I'm like, let me not drop too many gems and give people the secrets just quite yet.
The secret is out.
Yeah.
I'm done. I'm in for. But no, it worked. And it's something I discovered on my own. I was like, wait a minute, like this, I see the analytics. I'm like, wait, all these countries, no one ever watched my videos before. Now, India is 40% of my views.
Yeah. So it's something you talked about a little earlier on. Just you weren't the greatest starting off, but I actually just recently talked about I recorded a podcast earlier today, and we were talking about how important reps are in this business, like just the repetition of creating videos, doing it again and again, and how much you'll learn by just getting started. Because I always tell my friends and even myself, I was so scared to get started. And then I realized, like, once I get started, that was the most important step I could take. At that point, I didn't know what direction I wanted to go. I didn't know what format I wanted to do. But now I'm starting 6 months into it. I'm starting to find my flow. And I still believe every day and every rep I take is just that. It's going to be improving on it and learning from it.
Well, that's something I'm extremely passionate about is talking about the YouTube experience. And some things that bother me is a lot of YouTubers, they think they're too good to read or answer comments. And it bothers me because you have people that said, hey, I like this guy. I want to say something. And if you don't acknowledge it or don't answer it, that person doesn't feel special. So the worst thing you could do with any social media, if you're a content creator, is to not treat it like a business. It's a business. For YouTubers that disappear because they want to take a break, or they just stop creating content and they're like, hey, we're back. That's not cool to your followers. If you had a favorite coffee shop that you would go to and they said, hey, we're going to take a break, we'll see you guys whenever, you're going to find a new coffee shop.
Yeah.
Right? And then when that one reopens, you might not feel the same about it. So you have to be consistent and you have to treat it like a business. If I could stress to anybody starting off on a YouTube channel or any social media platform, it's a business. It's not a status symbol. It's not a cool way to get hooked up with free gear. That's not what it's for. It's a business. So you're going to set up an LLC. You got to protect yourself. Last thing you want to do is get jammed up. And you also want to be figure out who you are, right? When you first do YouTube videos, there might be something special that you do and you just go right at it. But a lot of people start off YouTube, they don't know. They're dabbling in all these different topics. Are they a traveler? Are they a reviewer? Are they a maker, right? They're trying to figure out where their niche is. And then once they find that niche, they kind of you got to hone in and really take advantage of the audience that you gained and keep them busy. Don't overload them, right? Because they're not going to watch it.
Yeah.
And never get your friends and family to try to watch your videos. They don't care. They don't care. They'll click on 1 second, watch it, and say, yeah, I watched it. You're good. That hurts you early on.
Mm-hmm.
Let your friends and family find out later on when you blow up. And they're like, oh, wow, I didn't know you were doing YouTube. That's awesome. Tell me about it. They'll be more interested in finding out after the fact than you constantly trying to share it with them and put it all over your own personal social media to watch the video, because they won't watch it.
Mm-hmm.
They'll secretly talk about, like, what is he doing? He's crazy. I can't believe it. He's lost his mind. He's starting a YouTube channel. Wait, let them find out later.
I'm laughing a ton just because I could completely relate to what you just said. I actually just had a conversation with my dad's best friend earlier this week, and he was like, you need to tell your friends to comment and like, do all this stuff. I'm like, my audience isn't my friends at the end of the day. If they want to listen and they find the conversation I'm having on the podcast resonates with them, then that's really cool. You know, I wish all my friends would listen, but I understood early on that they aren't going to listen. My audience isn't going to be the 20 people I might know. Let's say I even know 100 people, because I aim to grow this as big as I can. So it might be 1 million, 10 million, whatever the number is. At the end of the day, the few 10 people, like you said, might do more damage by following me and not engaging in my content than not following me at all.
Absolutely. And none of my friends or family watch any of my long form videos. Maybe they do now, right? Because it's bigger, but like I never like pushed it down their throat. I said, it's out there. I got my own weird thing I'm doing and I'm going to go with it. But like my YouTube journey at work started in 2008. On my own personal started in 2013.
Mm-hmm.
So that's when I said, I want to do stuff on my own. Like, who is Patrick Botticelli, right?
Mm-hmm.
What does he do? And I started off with, I always loved going into abandoned homes and abandoned places. And I love New Jersey history. So I would buy the Weird New Jersey magazine, which is like a thing, right? It's super cool. And I would open it up, and I'm not much a reader or writer. I struggle in that particular category. I'd look at the pictures and the little description, and it was a blurry picture of something and a little description. I'm like, man, that'd be cool, like to go there and like talk about it and bring people along for a ride and like the experience. How do you get there? What does it smell like? What are the sounds like? What are some of the landmarks? And that's what I did. My YouTube channel was me either mountain biking and talking about the trails, right? Because you could see trails on maps, but like, what is it like to ride it? What are the turns like? What is the terrain like? Or abandoned places in history. And I would go there with my camera and talk all about it. Horrible audio, shaky camera, getting ticks all over me. But people watched them, and people really enjoyed the storytelling I did. That's how my channel was early on. It was like how-tos, mountain biking, and a little bit of storytelling for for experience. I would also, I'm a cyclist. I bike all over New Jersey. I love New Jersey.
What?
That's why my YouTube channel is called New Jersey Outdoor Adventures, because it's all the outdoor adventures you can have in New Jersey. It's such a cool place. Gets bashed on so much for people that fly into Newark Airport and like, New Jersey sucks. It's not. There's so many awesome parts. So I biked most of New Jersey cycling. Well, what I would do is I would take my camera, my old Canon camcorder, and put it in a backpack and ride. And if I would see cool things, I would film it. But I wound up being in the RV business. I'm always passionate about RVs. I'd bump into people that had RVs, and I'm like, hey, I do RV tours at work, and I talk about new or used RVs, and they're empty. They got cabinets but there's nothing in it. There's no story. I was like, would you be interested in being on my show and give a tour of your RV? And if you're not comfortable doing it, I'll show you how to give a tour of an RV. So I'd spend a half hour with them just showing you, this is what we're going to talk about there, here. And I'd film. And that was it. They were just raw, unedited videos that I would just put up. And boom, people loved it. Because there was a story and passion and struggles and, emotion in the person's face that you could see during these tours. And the channel started getting bigger. And I said, I can't really do these abandoned homes anymore because it's a liability.
Yeah.
Here I am breaking into a home on video and, filming it. So I switched directions in 2018 and went mostly to RV tours, some abandoned, some biking, some how-to, but mostly RV tours. Fast forward 2019, a year after having my Airstream van, my iconic Airstream van that I had modified and I built and did some cool stuff with, I decided to do a Patrick walkthrough tour of my van. Video came out in May 2019. Huge hit. Viral. Like numbers, and I couldn't keep up with the comments. I'd answer one, 4 more would come in. I was like, holy crap, what is going on here? And that was like my second viral hit. I had an abandoned home. Everything was left behind that I toured, and there was a firearm on the counter, and there was just a whole bunch of weird stuff going on in this house. I'm questioning whether or not I just broke into someone's house that lived there because everything was intact.
Wow.
But that video did super well a couple of years prior to that. And then I had my video of my van that went super viral. And that's when the channel really started taking off. I first monetized the channel at that time frame and really focused on van tours. But then all of a sudden, COVID.
Wow.
So now I'm at a point where no one wants to give a tour. Who's going to invite me in their van?
Yeah.
So I started a DIY series on an Airstream trailer, which was pretty well received. And once people started being more comfortable, June of 2020, full speed kicked in, van tours, RV tours. There was not many YouTubers out there doing that at this time. There's probably about 40, 50 now that do the same thing because they've seen the success of myself and some others. But though all those videos, just huge numbers back then, huge numbers. And a lot of money came in during that time frame because no one was doing it. And the ad revenue was pretty good. But now, that's mainly what I do. I film anywhere from 2 to 6 van tours, RV tours, camper tours on my show a week.
Wow.
And I only release 2 a week at certain times of year, and then I slim down to 1 at certain times of year. RVs is seasonal, even though you don't think it might be seasonal. So the viewer interest really starts dwindling after Christmas, and it kicks back up about in March. So there's about a 2-month time frame where I slim down what I'm releasing. Also, ad revenue drops after the holidays. Ad revenue is really high in December. It's a good month to release a lot of YouTube videos and save some of your viral videos for that month, or videos that you think are going to perform extremely well. But like January, February, ad revenue is kind of low for what I do.
Do you know why? In that time of year, the viewership for RVs starts to drop?
There's in the RV industry regionally, like down south, it's different because there's snowbirds that go down to Florida and Texas and California and Arizona, spend the winters there. So they bring their RV down there and then they go to dealers down there and kick tires during the winter. And if the salesperson's lucky, they make a deal.
Yeah.
But usually it's between Thanksgiving and end of February where people aren't really focusing on RV. Up here, it's seasonal, right? So there's snow on the ground, it's cold out. They're not really thinking about it. But the RV show season starts around then. So now people are going to RV shows and looking at RVs and getting interested in RVs. So that kicks it in. Once the weather starts getting a little warmer, people start thinking, oh, it's spring, we got to get an RV. So, but a lot of people focus on holidays, Christmas shopping, and other things during that time frame. So it's not really on their mind.
That makes sense. What goes into planning a video or even a video series? How do you go about it?
So I don't do many series that build on each other anymore. It's just each episode's a new guest. And that's another point I want to bring up. It's hard. I don't have consistent viewership. My audience of 1.6 million followers there, are very picky about what they're going to watch. So it's hard for me to experiment with new things, new ideas, new videos, new products, because if my viewers subscribe because they like vans, well, they might not watch the other video. And I find that's a huge struggle with me. That's one of the pain points of my channel is my viewers are very selective because the videos aren't Patrick and what's Patrick doing today, and the videos aren't building a storyline of what happened the week before. So, compared to like Vice Grip Garage or Cletus McFarland, the people watch those videos on all different things that he does because they love that person. They want to see what they're doing next. Where mine, it's like new guest every week. They don't like the color of the guy's shirt. Well, they're not going to watch the video or whatever it is. They just don't watch the video. So that's very hard. But what goes into it? Someone writes into the show, says, hey, I have something really cool. I want to be on your show and showcase it to your audience because I watched a lot of your videos and I got a lot of ideas and I built my own van. I want to pay it forward, right? I want to help the next person out. Maybe share my story and say, it's because of your videos, you guys said, yes, you could do this. I want to help the next person that's struggling, thinking about van life or RV life or being a nomad, maybe push them over the edge. So a lot of people want to like pay it forward. Some people build something and they're going to want to sell it one day. So they want like a little documentary video of what they built, which they could show to people if they want to sell it one day. Some other are professional builders, right? They want to be on the show to get the exposure of my huge audience so they could showcase their brand and their product. So I've helped 11 or 12 local van and RV builders by being on my show when they were early in their building that they got enough exposure that they generate leads and they built big businesses of this. And they're very thankful for the opportunity to be on my show. And I've had some people on now 25 different times.
Wow.
Because they consistently, hey, Patrick, when can I get back on? I got something new. But my policy was always anybody could go on if they have something they want to showcase. And sometimes that hurts me. I film something and I'm like, oh no, and I did a tent for the back of a pickup truck once.
No way.
Company wrote in, they built this tent, and I saw it. And I was like, that's kind of cool. Like I think my viewers might watch that. No one watched it. No matter what I did, I threw everything at this. No one watched it. The company was very thankful because they have the video embedded on their website and it helps them sell. But I was like, darn, I disappointed my viewers. I showed them something that they have no interest in whatsoever. The guy was the best salesperson, but it wasn't a salesy video. Did an excellent demonstration. Great looking guy, great looking Jeep. He put it on. It just no one watched it.
Yeah.
So I have to be a little selective of now who I cast on the show. But really good story. Girl writes in several times. I built my car into a camper. I would love to be on. I said, I don't do cars. I did a Jeep once and the video did okay. It wound up being like a 50-minute video for a video that probably only needed to be 10 minutes, but I did it. It was cool. I just wanted to showcase a huge arrangement of all different ways you could live thematically, right? With all different things. So I said, Jeep, someone lives in a Jeep. Great. Let's do that. Well, the girl writes in, she has a car, she lives in it, and I book it. Cold day. She shows up. It's a Chevy Cobalt, like 20-year-old vehicle.
Small car then. Small
car. And she lives in it because she has no other option of housing. I'm like, I never had this before. People chose to live in because they wanted to live a nomadic lifestyle, not that they were forced to live in their car. And I was like, oh man, I don't think my viewers are going to like this. It's unhoused living in a car with a cat. And her story was so incredible. And, she's at the verge of tears as she's telling me the story and everything. We filmed the video. I coached her on what we needed to see and what we needed to do. And at the end of the video, she mentioned that she was going to, she was working at a home center. and she had recently got laid off, and she was doing like DoorDash or whatever to make ends meet. But she mentioned that she was starting a YouTube channel, and she had 250 subscribers and getting going. And she said, "Can we mention it?" I said, "Yeah, I'll put a link in the description and we'll do whatever." Video went viral, huge viral on every platform I put it on. We did a short video of her doing the vertical format, TikTok viral. I put it again on TikTok in a different format, viral. Facebook viral. Instagram viral. YouTube Shorts viral. Then I released a full video. That went huge viral. She's very thankful because not everybody that mentions their YouTube channel gets a subscriber, right? You have to earn it, right? People are intrigued. They want to see what that person's doing. She has like almost 30,000 followers right now.
Holy smokes.
And she did a lot of work. She does a lot of videos and stuff, but like it's hard for a YouTuber that early on, 250 subscribers, to get people going.
Yeah.
Unless you do like scandalous like titles like, I don't know, I'm quitting, Why? I want to watch. But she's now a YouTuber. And that video helped her. And it was an honest, raw video of just her telling her story. And now she has a nice van that she lives in, and things are going good.
That's beautiful.
So I'm very happy to be part of that. And taking a chance, too, because I could easily have said, listen, this isn't going to work. This isn't what my viewers are going to see. But I said, you know what, maybe someone will be interested in this. And I'm very happy that it all worked out for her. And the video did so well on all the platforms. And she writes in occasionally, thank you. I have so many viewers and so much support now. So those are the things that like get me excited about doing these videos is, seeing how other people react to it and how it could change them. Another video that went big was a video that I was trying to do for 2 years.
Which one?
The Van Alley video. So this was like a big video, and it was 2021, 2022. So 2 years prior to that, I saw a little news clip about people living in their vans in Brooklyn because they couldn't afford rent. And to me, that seemed very intimidating. For go up to the go with my camera, like, hey, anybody want to do a video? I just never did it because I couldn't fit it all together in my head, like how I'm going to approach this. It seems very unapproachable. Dark, scary, like alley, garbage on the side of the roads, like people living in their vans. What's it going to be like? Am I going to get locked in one of them and like, kidnapped? So a company I write to a lot of companies and say, hey, like you guys are building cool vans. I would love to have you on the show. But I wrote to a company in Brooklyn, and they had a little ad out for a van that they built. And I said, hey, I'd love to have you on. And they're like, dude, that's awesome. Like, we're trying to get a company off the ground. We built this one van. We just sold it, but we're going to build another one. We'll let you know when it's done. So it's done. I drive up to Brooklyn, and we filmed the van tour, and they did a great job. And I said, hey, do you know anybody else in the area? I'm all the way up here. It's an hour and a half from my house. That has a van I want to be filmed. They're like, yeah, our friend Rob, Van Alley Rob, lives in his van on Van Alley. I was like, no way. I was like, get him on the phone. So they get him on the phone. He's like, yeah, I'm putting lights on my van. You could swing by. So I drive over there, and it's just the coolest thing ever. Back then, it was different than what it was when it ended. But just cool vibe, people living in their vans. They can't afford rent in the city. It's right after COVID, right? Rent prices skyrocketed
through the roof.
A lot of them got laid off. They were like in restaurant or hospitality. They got laid off during that time frame. But they loved the neighborhood. They loved the community, and they still wanted to live there. So they bought vans and they built them out. Lived in the vans. There's a gym right up the street. They go there, use the bathroom, use the showers there. It worked out perfectly. But I said, hey, you guys want to be on a tour? I'll just give like a 5-minute tour of each one of your vans. And we did that video, and it's just so raw and so real and so genuine. That video blew up.
Wow.
They became celebrities.
No way.
People would, because it just happened like the night before. They had some event they were at, and they had sailor hats, right? And it just so, because everybody, it almost could have been a reality show, like Van Alley, the reality show, because they would all hang out after work and they would go do stuff. And they would just go back to their vans and go to sleep, and next day all over. So it was like almost like the TV show Friends, but everybody lived in vans. So they went to some event. They had these sailor hats, and they're all wearing them the next morning. So like the combination between you could live in a van in Brooklyn and save on rent, the sailor hats, the cool vans, the vibe that they all had, that video went viral. Next thing you know, Law and Order reaches out to me months later. It says, hey, we want to do a TV episode of this Van Alley. We saw your video. We like you bring your van. Maybe you could be in the background or whatever. I couldn't do it because I had other commitments. It's short, it's like tomorrow you got to show up. So I referred some of the Van Alley people. They couldn't do it, but they rented vans and they parked them in a street like Van Alley, and they filmed an episode of like someone got murdered in their van. They all live in their vans and everybody's getting interviewed. It's just really cool. And then with that video took another dive up because now people see this episode and they're like, oh my God, you could live in a van in Brooklyn and save on rent. Next, all news articles and everything, a lot of big YouTubers, they went to Brooklyn to film content. And so these guys were like celebrities because they're like, oh, there's that guy with the sailor hat. Let him be on. So a lot of them were very thankful because they had a good time. They had a lot of fun. They got a lot of exposure, news articles. But when I filmed that video, the saying was, your days are numbered. They were literally building a park next to this alleyway. And the building next to it was getting torn down. But it lasted all the way until September of 2024. So these people were living in their vans on that road, rent-free, no alternate side of the street parking, just legitimately living off the grid, really. And they finally took down the road and took down the building. It's going to be a beautiful park, Domino Park, I think it's called. And so now they're scattered throughout the city. Some people left and just went on their way. But I'm happy to be part of that because it's something that I couldn't necessarily put together myself. I was so intimidated to do it. And then I got an in and I went with it and we filmed that video and it was just so special to everybody.
That's a really cool experience because like you said, rent-free and not have to worry about switching the side of parking in New York, really you never hear of. It just does not exist. If you own a car in New York, you know for a fact that one day a week at least you have to move that car. You're going to be piling up on tickets. Or like you said, rent was through the roof at that time. One thing I want to go back on that you spoke about, which I think is really cool, just being a YouTuber and like just really cool being an entrepreneur as well. You spoke about the video with the tent in the back, how you thought it was a really cool idea. You thought it would probably do well, and it didn't, versus the Chevy one where you thought, you took a chance on it because you didn't think nothing of it, and then that one blew up. And I just think that's part of the YouTuber journey because some people want to always wait till their YouTube video is perfect or like they have the perfect idea, but sometimes you never know which one's going to go viral, which one's not.
You don't. And a lot of it has to do with the motion in the video too. So people will watch if they feel connected with someone. But you could film the best video. You could spend weeks and months editing it. But if you don't have a good thumbnail, you don't have a good title, you don't hook them in the first 30 seconds, no one's going to watch it.
Yeah.
No one's ever going to watch it. And it's a balance. And it's something I learn. I study and I pay attention to, and I read the comments, and that's the biggest thing. I'll go back to that. If you're a YouTuber and you don't read your comments, and you don't answer your comments, you're not learning anything. A lot of YouTubers pay all this money to go subscribe to these companies that tell you how to do YouTube. They don't know nothing. They know absolutely nothing. It's a ripoff. You're learning a way that they copied from someone else that doesn't do it that way because that way didn't work. you're already like 2 years behind.
Mm-hmm.
You watch your audience, you study your analytics. I'm a big charts and graphs and numbers guy. I look at everything and I study and see what's going on. Some things I can't figure out. Or sometimes I'm like, man, that video sucks.
Mm-hmm.
But I never, there's only 2 videos that I ever filmed that I haven't released just because I just don't think my audience is going to like it. Or it's too late. It's not relevant anymore. Like whatever I did is just not relevant anymore.
Mm-hmm.
But also too, like if you're going to start a YouTube channel, the business is very important and consistency. So I screwed up. My YouTube channel is New Jersey Outdoor Adventures. My TikTok page is NJ Outdoor Adventures. My Instagram is Patrick_NJOA, and then my Facebook is New Jersey Outdoor Adventures, and I have my own Patrick Botticelli. There's no consistency there. If you're going to open up a business, right, and Target, and all your social medias are different names, you screwed up.
Yeah.
But sometimes you take it so far, it's hard to change. It's hard to rebrand, right? So my tip is keep everything the same. Do it all. Open up every platform the same day. Even if you're not ready to start posting content there, just open them up. Get it all ready to go. So when you become big, you have that consistency. Because I tell people, oh, look me up on Instagram. Oh, wait, it's not New Jersey Outdoor. Oh, wait, it's not my name. It's this. It's hard. But if so many things are backlinked to that, it's hard to change it.
Definitely. And I could agree with you on that because that's an issue I actually had in the beginning because my podcast on YouTube was originally named Notes of Success, but then my Instagram was Steve Reynoso, and then my TikTok was like Steve_Reynoso, and I'm like, wait, I'm at the perfect size where I could kind of reinvent myself and see what username is open and try to make them all the same. I think 2 of them are the same, 2 of them are different, just because of the underscore was taken on TikTok. And I think it was probably taken by me trying to make an account earlier on, and I just can't log back into the account. I messed myself up on it.
Well, consistency is important too. And if you could get verified once you get big enough, that's great because what happens is once you get big enough, people want to copy you to rip other people off. So there's a lot of fake TikTok accounts of me. And they're like, hey, they post the same video. They say, hey, if you want to buy this, message me. And they're like, oh, we'll sell it to you for $5,000, send $5,000, just scams. And the frustrating thing with TikTok is I report everything and nothing gets done.
Yeah.
And I feel bad, and it hurts my image. And a lot of YouTubers go through this with like fake merch, and I do too. I fail at merch. I should do such a better job at selling merch. With my viewership, I barely sell any merch. But I work full-time. I have my full-time job. I do this part-time, which is also another full-time job. So if I was just doing this, I would do a way better job on merch. But there's companies that copy your logo, and they'll post in your comments or in your Facebook comments, like, hey, buy merch here. And it's got the logo and everything on it, and people click on it, and they're paying money for fake merch or not ever getting the merch. And it's horrible, but it happens to every big YouTuber. And nothing ever gets done about it.
Why do you think that's the case?
Opportunists. People say, hey, there's an opportunity to make some money off this person that's probably too busy to monitor and delete all these comments. So if we could get 10 people to pay $10 for a shirt that they'll never get, that's money.
What would you recommend for content creators that want to defend themselves against that?
Well, if you have a verified account, that's one, right? So these fake accounts aren't going to be verified. So, even if they use your logo and your name, and you could say, hey guys, make sure you click to this account. This is where we sell the merch.
I actually wanted to ask you, you don't have to answer this if you don't want to, but how come you still work a sales job and do YouTube? Because I see a lot of people, once they're at the following you have on YouTube, they're like, hey, I'm out of my job. But one cool thing you told me is you work 7 days a week. You're at it all the time, and that's really cool.
That's just me. I'm a workaholic. I love work. But, I'm going to be 50 next year. I'm not married. I don't have any kids. I can do whatever I want, really.
Yeah.
But I started with this company, the ground floor. I put in all those years, and I before I did YouTube, I worked there, and I worked all the time. So I did everything. I would come in on Sundays and take pictures of RVs and put them online. So like, it's hard to give that up when you started so early in the company. As long as I still enjoy what I do there, I'm going to stay there. We do a lot of collaborations on stuff. So, you know, I help build that social media up so we have 1 million followers on our Facebook page because of the videos I collaborate with.
Wow.
We have a YouTube channel with 200,000, another YouTube channel with 200,000. So I took all the best practices and things I learned on my own and applied them to my work to help us grow to a bigger company. And I just thought, I'm not ready to give it up. But if I did YouTube full time, that's what I would do. And I would do the other things I want. See, you don't realize me having another career and having YouTube, I'm censored. So there's only certain things I could do.
Yeah.
I'm watched very closely about what I do if I cross the line in conflict of interest and whatnot. So I would love to do so much more. I just can't because I'm a little censored. And I always felt censored my whole YouTube career. But also, I am shadow banned in the industry of the RV industry because I've done so much new things that never been done before. And people don't like change. They don't like a shakeup. So I don't get the attention that other RV YouTubers get in the industry, the RV industry. And it's a shame. I would love to get credit for like what I do and talked about, but I don't. But what's very warming is sometimes when I go to events and I see other RV influencers there, they do come up to me and say, Patrick, oh my God, it's because of you. Your videos that I watched years ago, this is why I do YouTube. And I'm like, wow, that's awesome. Some of these people are like, oh man, they copied me. I don't like them. But then when they come up to you and thank you and say you're the one, it feels good. It'd be nice if the industry recognized that. So, you know, I'm not featured in an RV business once a month like all the other RV content, you know, maybe once every 2 years. But maybe I don't need that, you know.
Yeah.
But I feature a lot of up-and-coming brands. So the RV industry might not like that. They want to support the people that are in it. But like, where did those companies start 10 years ago, 20 years ago, 30 years ago? They were the same as these up-and-coming companies. So, you know, if I was on my own, I think, and not attached to a brand or another dealership, I think the industry might be a little bit more open because then I could like talk about all the different brands and be a news guy for the RV world. But right now, I got to separate them. There's a definitive line between the two that I can't cross.
I want to go back and talk a little bit more about the Airstream Bambi because you said that went viral and that was a series, right?
Not necessarily viral, but it helped me continue content.
Yeah.
When there was a time frame where YouTubers couldn't do content, right? There was not much going on in March, April, May of 2020.
Yeah.
That's what kept me going. I was like, perfect opportunity. I'm going to restore the Bambi. It's been sitting in my driveway for 2 years. All the parts are in my basement. So that's what kept me going. And it was a good learning experience because more of a how-to video. And that's more of the direction that I would love to grow the channel into. My back to my roots. You know, that before this Bambi thing, I did some how-to videos on automotive and fixing. And those channels are just huge now. Anybody that like finds an abandoned car in the woods or in someone's property and gets it running and drives it home, like Roadkill.
Yeah.
Huge successful TV show that's no longer. Everybody went their own ways after Motor Trend shut down the operation. But they all have YouTube channels and they all do that content. And they have consistent viewers. Even if someone doesn't like that particular car, they'll watch it because they want to see them get it running and get it going. But that's kind of like where I started, getting a car running, fixing the heat and air conditioning in my Airstream van. But back to that Bambi video series, I said, let me document this because this is kind of cool. When I first started selling Airstreams, MoMA in New York brought into their permanent collection a 1961 Airstream Bambi. And to me, if MoMA had this in their collection, this was the holy grail Airstream to own. So I said, one day I'm going to buy one of those trailers. I'm going to restore it. And I wound up finding one day, and I found it mostly original. Someone slapped paint on the cabinets, and I said, this is a good candidate. So I bought it, and I just was consumed work-wise and other things in my life. I couldn't get to it. But that COVID lockdown, that's it. I had a lot of time. I was still working full-time, but there's not a lot else going on. So I did that video series, and I helped bring up a new audience to my channel.
Mm-hmm.
You know, before that, it was a mixed audience of RV reviews and, you know, abandoned places and mountain biking. Now I had the whole Airstream community watching. Oh, Patrick's doing an Airstream, because I'm big in the Airstream world for YouTube. People know me there, but they didn't know Patrick, New Jersey Outdoor Adventures Patrick.
Yeah.
So that brought a new audience, and I completed it, and I put that video, the final video, up a year later, and it did very well. But it also helped establish me to people know that I had the mechanical skills and the know-how. I wasn't just a showman. I wasn't just a host. Like, I could do this stuff too. So I would never do it again, I'll tell you that.
How come?
I would say that I have more money in that trailer than what it's worth. And I could have bought a new Airstream Bambi for the same amount of money. But it's super cool.
Yeah.
I pulled it out. I only use it once a year because I have another Airstream. I have an Airstream van I use all the time. My mega Airstream, the one that went viral on YouTube in 2019. But I pulled it out and I put water in it. Everything worked. And you know, I'm camping and I'm like, I can't believe I put this all together by hand. And nothing broke. Everything still works.
That's got to be an amazing feeling.
It really is. And you lay in it and you sleep in it, you're like, wow, this is cool. Like, you know, it's like a fort.
Yeah.
You know, I built this. And one day I'll sell it. My dreams were to have it in the showroom at the store and people could appreciate and see it. It just didn't work out. It's not the right unit for the store. But then Airstream headquarters out in Ohio built a heritage center, and they have a museum there. I was like, ooh, that'd be cool. I could have it in there. That I'm still working on, because I think it'd be cool, like, they just have it free storage for a few years, but also have it so other people could appreciate it and be like, that's the trailer that Patrick restored.
Mm-hmm.
So I did it very period like, but I have some modern equipment in there that I hid behind the scenes, like USB ports and modern heating, modern water heater, lithium battery, inverter, all that cool stuff that new RVs have, just hidden behind the scenes. So you go and it's pretty bare bones and pretty basic, but it's a very functional trailer.
What would your advice be to somebody starting a new YouTube channel?
Business. It is 100% business.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'll repeat again, because I'm so passionate about this.
Of course.
It's not a status symbol. It's not like, I'm cool, I got a big following. You can't show up to a restaurant that has a 1 hour long wait and say, hey, you know, I'm a big YouTuber, you should get me in there. You can't do that. You can't do it because you want free stuff. It's a legitimate business. Don't let down your audience by deciding you're not going to upload videos because you're having a tough month. These people like clicked and subscribed because they're interested in you and they want to watch more.
Mm-hmm.
Don't let them down. Don't close up shop and just disappear on them.
That's funny you say that, because I actually haven't posted a full video, a full podcast in 2 weeks, and I haven't even thought about it like that. For a little bit, I kind of did, where I'm like, because I got like an influx of a few. For me, it's a lot of followers. Honestly, it was like 400 followers within the span of a week, and I was like, I can't let them down, because prior to that, I wasn't even consistent with my clips. Like, I'd probably drop a few clips before an episode posted. And then once that happened, I was like, I can't let them down. These people want to see my podcast. They want to see my clips. And that's when it started, like, daily posting of clips. And then I haven't released anything in 2 weeks, just because because it was hard to get a guest. But then I realized, like, it doesn't matter if I don't get a guest. Like, I got to sit in front of this camera and record something. I need to bring my friends in and record something.
Absolutely.
Like, I can't be selling my audience short.
As long as you recognize that these are real people that subscribe, like that want to watch. It's not just a number on your phone. Like, you could do very well at it. Another big thing I want to bring up, and I see it happening. I'm on a lot of Facebook groups. I see it happening over and over again. Someone stole my Facebook account. My Facebook account got hacked.
Mm-hmm.
What happens is it's mostly greed, and I'll tell you why. I get about a dozen emails a day. You're lucky I got your email.
Definitely.
Big podcast, major podcast. Hey, Patrick, we love New Jersey Outdoor Adventures. We love what you were doing. We would like to invite you onto our podcast. It's a Facebook Live and Instagram Live, and we're going to pay you $3,000 to be on our show.
Wow.
Right? And you're like, holy crap, I made it. I'm big. I'm on this person's show. And you click on the website link, and you're like, wow, this is like a real legit podcast. I'm going to be famous. I'm going to get so many brand deals. And I'm going to get $3,000 because I have 50,000 followers on Facebook. What happens is it's a scam. So whenever you get an email like this is huge for like small mom and pop businesses that build up a Facebook brand and lose it overnight because it got hacked. What happens is they entice you with the money, entice you with the fame of being on this major podcast. And you click on, like, you always click on the email that it was sent from, right? Like, who sent this? Who is this person? They'll have the name of the podcast at gmail.com. It looks sort of legit, but they do have a website. Why wouldn't they have it at that website, right? So that's like number one red flag. Like, it might not be coming from them. So I experimented. I said, thank you very much for the opportunity. Can you please message me from your Facebook or Instagram and send the same invite? Oh, we can't. We're a different company affiliated. So now you know, like, all right, something's fishy. So what happens is they set you up for the podcast date, and it's going to be Facebook Live, and like invite all your friends. It's going to be super cool. And Instagram. What we're going to do is we're going to set up a consultation with you, and we're going to have our programmer do a Zoom call with you, and they're going to make sure your computer settings are correct, because it's very important. If you're going to be on our live thing, we got to make sure your camera and your audio and everything's perfect. And you're like, yeah, let's do it. So you set up this appointment, and you're on Zoom, and then you give them remote access to your computer. And while they're in there, they set up themselves as administrator to your account.
Wow.
Okay, and downgrade your rights to that account right in front of you. Like, don't worry, we're just changing some settings. This podcast, very important, going to be excellent. And you're on a Zoom call, and there's no one on the other side. It's just a blank screen. It's like an icon or whatever. And yeah, you're all set. Okay, we'll see you on Thursday for the podcast. Please click on this link or whatever when you're ready. Wednesday comes around. Sorry, I'm very sorry to inform you the podcast has been canceled. We have to reschedule. We'll let you know. Account's done. Gone. They took your account.
Wow.
So what happens is after that, like, you're like, oh, bummer. Like, next day your account's gone. So what they do is they change the settings. They push you out, and then someone else owns your account. And then with your account now, with 50,000 subscribers, they could do all sorts of wacky things with that. There's a dollar amount value with that account. They could sell it to someone else. They could post not good pictures or graphic pictures on there and get the account banned. They could hold it ransom, and you could pay them $5,000 to get your account back. So over and over and over again, I lost my Facebook account. You'll go look it up on YouTube.
Yeah.
Go on YouTube and say, we lost our Facebook account got hacked. I always want to comment and say, hey, let me ask you a question. Did you get invited on a podcast and get a $3,000 offer? And they're like, oh my God, that was it. A lot of people don't realize, they don't backtrack it to that one event. That's what it is. So if you ever email someone and say, hey, I would love to have you on my podcast. I'm not paying you. This is real. Yeah. This is coming from, because if people know about this, it's going to be hard to book people on a podcast because they know this scam. Not many people know. I don't know how I connected all the dots. I should probably
Yeah.
just do a separate video on how not to get your Facebook account hacked.
Definitely. I think it might have been because I switched up how I was emailing people. I give them a little bit more information, like, hey, I'm the owner of LPM Radio and Media Group LPM. And then I actually send an email from, like you said, my website email. I have the domain, so I have a stevereynoso at LPM Radio. So, and then I send a few links to my YouTube channel as well. So maybe it helps people connect the dots. Because when I first started off trying to find guests, and I was emailing them from my personal account, it was very difficult to get a response. It doesn't matter like what I was doing, what I was saying, what I was showing. It was really hard. But the second I switched over to my professional email, it was like I saw a switch instantly. It's like people respond within the day, within the week, and that's really nice because have you ever had trouble finding a guest when you first started, like looking for guests?
So the way it started was biking. So what I would do is I would see a cool camper van parked on the side of the road. I would bike up and down the Jersey Shore, right? There's surf vans and all sorts of people on vacation. So I made these flyers up, like a real estate flyer.
Yeah.
That says my story, who I am, what I do. Example of like thumbnail pictures of videos. And I love your van. I'd love to have you on the show. On the back side, I have my telephone number, have all my social media accounts, a picture of me in my van, and I'd stuff them on people's windshields. And I would say 1 out of every 5 would call.
Yeah.
And I was just shocked because I at first I made these things up on a photocopier and like I'm not going to invest money, make cards, that people are going to throw away. But a lot of people were intrigued by it because they wanted to share their story. There's also a lot of people that come on my show that are trying to build a social media account and YouTube account up. So the extra exposure is very awesome.
Yeah.
But I would stuff these things in everybody's windshield. Like I go on a 30-mile bike ride. I put 10 in windshields and maybe 1 or 2 people would call and I'd say, all right, I'll turn around. I come back all sweaty. So if you look at some of my early videos from like 2019 or 2020, my bicycle's literally in the background. I'm all sweaty. I'm in a cycling shirt with my helmet off to the side and I'm filming a video. And that's it. That's how raw and real they were. Now people come from all over the country. I film at several different locations I have preset. They show up, do the meet and greet. Now I don't think of myself as a celebrity, right? Because I'm not. I could go anywhere, no one recognizes me. But like some of these people, I'm a celebrity to them because they've watched me for years, right? So they get a little nervous and
Definitely.
they want to do a selfie and do pictures and stuff. But what I do is I walk through their van, no camera in my hand, no nothing, and we talk about what they've done. So I call it a walkthrough. It's 45 minutes usually it takes to kind of go through. I kind of know what camera angles. Also have to make sure the person knows what they're talking about because I don't want anybody to be on my show and get embarrassed, right? If they call something the wrong name or they're not sure about. So a lot of people get a free education out of it if they have bought an RV and they're using it and they say, oh, I don't use that. I don't know what that is. Well, let me tell you what it is. So I do that. I spend some time with them. Then we take the thumbnail picture because that's like the first, you know how many times I shot video and I leave and they go home like, oh shoot, I forgot to take a thumbnail picture. Oh my God.
That's literally me.
What am I going to do? So I take the thumbnail picture, get that out of the way. Then what I'll do is I'll take some basic photography because it's nice to have a nice Facebook post to go along with the video. You can promote the video. So having a nice photo gallery on Facebook, because if you just put a YouTube video link in Facebook, it's not going to get shown. But if you have a photo gallery and a YouTube link in the first comment, that's the secret sauce.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah. If you just have a YouTube link, Facebook they don't want people leaving the platform. What are you, nuts? They want them to stay there so they could shop more and make more money. But you can make a comment with a link in it, right? And that's how they click through. So you'll notice that like Supercar Blondie and Unilat and all those companies that do these cool posts, they'll always have a link to their blog or website or YouTube below in one of the comments. But anyway, we do the photo gallery. Then I film my intro and they stand behind. I tell them what to do. And then I mic them up and we do the tour. And I direct the videos. I don't talk in my tours. I learned early on that I was talking over people just because I thought I was helping, but people were engaged in that guest. They didn't want to hear from me. So I direct from behind the camera. A lot of people are not comfortable on camera. So I say, look at me. I have a little pocket camera now. So it's not as intimidating. I used to have a big gimbal with a big camera and I'd show up and like people like stand up like they're in the military because they thought they're on the news and like get all nervous on a tour. Now I have a little DJI pocket. So I hold it right in front of my face. I say, talk to me. Look at me. Look at my face. I'm going to nod. I'm going to acknowledge what you're saying. I'm going to smile. I'm going to make weird faces. But to make it feel like you're talking to someone.
Yeah.
Not a camera. And I was like, also, don't think about my audience. Think about someone you went to college with. Good old buddies. Came to town and said, oh my God, you have a van? You built this? Tell me about it. Picture you telling your friend, but you're looking at my face about this. And that's it. That's the secret sauce for that too, because now they're more comfortable. They're looking at my face. I'm making nods and doing all the stuff. And then they're imagining that they're telling a friend of theirs. And their friend knows nothing about vans or RVs. So they have to like dumb it down a little bit because they're not at the same level of knowledge of how vans work and why this is important versus that important. But they give the tour. And then a lot of times people get stuck. You don't know what you're going to talk about next. So let's just talk about the same thing until I can think about what to talk about next. So I give cues behind the camera. And the new camera being so small, I could just push it forward and point to stuff. So a lot of times my videos, you see a shadow of my hand or you'll see their eyes wander. Oh, yeah. All right. Yeah, that's the fan up there. All right, we're going to move on to that. So I direct it from behind the camera. And then I give them all the cues they need to be successful and have a good tour because we don't want them to be embarrassed or not happy with the way the video came out. And then I do a few questions at the end and wrap up, and it's done. So I could have 30 minutes worth of footage, and I edit. I do all my editing myself. So I'm not a great editor. I can tell you I'm not into the cinematic style, but sometimes I'll add some birds to the background or some dogs barking. I'll speed up videos. So maybe someone talks really slow. I could speed it up to 101%, 102%, or 103% so it doesn't change the pitch of their voice, but it makes the video move along a little bit quicker. I also don't film their face the whole time. I'll move off their face because the video is really not always about them, right? Face is expression, a point you want to bring across. Back down to the microwave or the sink when they're talking about that. That also helps me hide ums and pauses. And tick noises people make. And everybody has weird noises they make. So I could hide them because what I could do is I could extract the audio from the video, fast forward the video part I'm filming and cut out all the breaks, and I could cut out the ticks and the ums and the whatever word they want to repeat 100 times. I could get rid of a lot of them. So I can make the video more engaging by the way I film. So I film my videos to be edited.
Yeah.
A lot of YouTubers go out and just film a whole bunch of crap and try to make it into something. And they waste so much time editing these videos for nothing. I film my videos and I could have it edited and done in an hour.
Wow.
That's it. It's up, ready to go. I have a long queue though. I film a lot and they might not be released for 2, 3, 4 months. But sometimes there's certain trending things out there and this video would be perfect for that trending topic. Let me put that one out. So I have a rotation of videos that I release at certain times based on what else is going on and what other trending videos are out. If I have a related video, I'm going to take advantage of that opportunity and put it out at the same time. And then I take advantage of the multiple thumbnails. So they allow you to do A/B testing for thumbnails on YouTube. So I don't know which thumbnail people are going to like. So I have a whole bunch of them. So I'll put them in there and YouTube will pick the best one. And if their A/B testing ends, I still have more thumbnails. I'll do another one. And keep it going until I find the right one. MrBeast, I think he said that they have hundreds of thumbnail pictures, and they'll change it every like 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And just one little thing will change in the thumbnail. You know, the little twinkle or a little star on the side of his smile might move a little spot, or his shirt color might change.
Yeah.
Like little elements like that, and that might be the most clickable thumbnail. So it's not, don't just take one thumbnail picture, take a lot of them, because you might need them all.
Definitely. And it's funny you say that again, because it's actually something I realized. I heard it and I started to pay more attention to it. And there was a YouTube video I was watching one day that was released, and then the next day it actually had a whole new thumbnail and title. I was like, wait, is this the same video? I started watching. I'm like, yeah. I'm like, I didn't realize how constant people were changing it and how much I need to step up my game on it too.
I would say the title change is more hurtful in today's day and age than it was 2 years ago. Because what you have in your title and description, try to get it right the first time. If you start changing it up so soon, a lot of the AI tools that YouTube has and testing that YouTube has might get reclocked or reset. So it might drastically drop your viewership if you do it too soon. So if the video is not performing well after a week, all right, change the title, maybe change up the description. But the thumbnail, you can do whatever you want. There's no words in there. It's just an image. Yeah. So I use Google Gemini AI to help me write my titles and descriptions, and it's brilliant. I have chapters now I put in there. There's so much stuff that I didn't have the mindset. I couldn't wrap my head around doing it. So I would do the bare basics for description and hopefully a title that worked. But using AI tools really helps write titles, and YouTube has a good amount of tools that will give you ideas on what types of it. If you're brand new to YouTube, you go to the inspiration column, it tells you like, hey, why don't I do a video about riding a bike? It tells you exactly what you could do to make this video and like what to film, how to do it. And they'll guide you through and get you going. If you have no idea what you want to film, type in a couple ideas and it will give you a whole script. I think that guy Casey Neistat, if I'm pronouncing it correctly, big vlogger back in the day. Now he just does the videos here and there. He did a video once to say, hey, I asked AI to write a script of a video. We're going to follow it exactly the way it told me to do. And he filmed the whole video based on what AI told him to do.
Wow. And how'd it come out?
It came out really good. And he was like, oh my God, that is pretty cool. It's an awesome video. Like, I didn't write this. I asked AI to write it for me.
Yeah, I was actually going to ask you a bit earlier on, but I let it pass by in my head. What did you do to improve on your, because you talked about YouTube SEO and titles and thumbnails. How did you learn how to improve on that? Because that's something I'm going through now. Like, I genuinely didn't even know that. I don't know anything about SEO. Let's put it that way.
So,
like, I'm fresh to that.
I have a marketing degree, and I was part of the marketing department at the dealership. A lot of the best practices we used 15 years ago, 10 years ago. We were the first dealer in 2005 to have paid pay-per-click.
Wow.
We paid like 5 cents a click for Airstream. That's like $5 a click now. But that was like the old way for a company like that to advertise. We do a lot more organically now. But I use a lot of the best practices that I knew just from being in that industry for a long time in my titles and descriptions. Your description, a lot of people just have a whole bunch of affiliate links and a brief description. That's all right, but it's not going to perform as well as a well-written description that tells you exactly what's going on in the video. So with AI tools now, I could download the transcript of the video easily. I could go into Gemini AI and say, write a description with chapters, hashtags, keywords, and title suggestions based on this transcript for this YouTube video. Copy and paste the transcript in. It spits it out for you. And you're like, oh my God, that's awesome. But it's a little long. Condense it to 500 words, or whatever.
Yeah. 500
characters. Give me catchy titles or value titles, and it will do it all for you. And then I don't just copy and paste. I modify it, but it's a good start,
Yeah,
right?
definitely.
It's a good basis, and it seems to be working quite well. But the biggest thing that if anybody just wants to grow on YouTube right now, I have a YouTube rep, and we have phone calls once a month. They want you to do short videos.
Mm-hmm.
Period. If you're not playing that field, you're not going to grow the way that everybody else is growing. You're wondering why another YouTuber is like flying past you while they're doing short videos, because more people will watch short videos on their phone
Mm-hmm.
than on their computer, the long form on their computer.
I've actually waited, like, let's say I want to watch a YouTube video and it's 10 minutes, 30 minutes. I've waited to get home or to finish work, or waited days, even weeks, just so I could watch it on the TV or something like that. So I never even thought of that.
So my long form videos, over 50% are television.
Wow.
And the rest is phone, tablet, different
Mhm.
computers. Computers like the lowest right now.
Yeah.
But a lot of it's on a phone or TV. But the short videos, you're going to get a larger exposure
Mm-hmm.
in a shorter period of time. The way views are counted is, they just have to watch now. I think they just changed it just 1 second. It used to be 3 to count as a view.
Wow.
They changed it because they're trying to compete with TikTok, and that's what TikTok does. But if you're smart and crafty with your short videos, you use all the best practices you would do for Facebook Shorts, Instagram Shorts, and TikTok Shorts. But you don't copy the same video and put it on all the platforms, because the metadata in the background of that video will prevent it from trending.
Okay.
So
that's something I do, so I'm definitely going to take that tip.
Yeah, TikTok won't even put you on the For You page if you do that.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense, because my TikTok literally gets like 200 views, but then
Yeah, they penalize you for
on
it.
YouTube and Instagram. they
So
perform
here's
a
some
little bit
keys to success for that. So I used to film everything on Instagram
Mm-hmm.
and download it and then put it everywhere else, because it was
Mhm.
easy. I could upload 4 different platforms in 10 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Now I shoot everything on my camera.
Mm-hmm.
I edit it in Adobe Premiere. I add sound effects. Then I upload it to each platform separately.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't use more than 3 keywords. Your video can't be about everything.
Yeah.
So why do you have 20 keywords? Hashtags. Hashtags, sorry.
Yeah.
Why do you have that many? It's not about everything. Your video is about these 3 things. Make it about, that's your hashtags. And I use different trending hashtags for different platforms, different titles.
Mm-hmm.
And the thumbnail on there is just as important as the thumbnail on a regular YouTube video. So you find the thumbnail that someone's like, what the heck is going on here? That they want to click on it. Not the thumbnail that would be the cool picture that you'd frame and put on your wall. That's different.
Mm-hmm.
When you're doing a short video, that thumbnail is something weird or odd in the video. So if you were to take a picture of us doing the podcast and you wanted to do a screenshot, it'd be me with my mouth open like that or something like, right? It wouldn't be just me sitting straight, because that's not interesting. People aren't
Yeah.
going to click on it. They want to see something odd or weird and intriguing. So I try to pick a thumbnail that's just like, what's going on there? And a title or caption that kind of supports that.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe some graphics that support that. And they do well. They do well. And I have videos that I do on there that I do talk on
Mm-hmm.
that I don't think are well, but because now people are comfortable watching me, they want to hear from me every once in a while, right? So those videos do extremely well,
Wow.
especially on TikTok. So I'm like, wow, that's cool. Like, people want to hear me talk too now again. I used to talk all the time. I stopped talking. Then I talk again.
Yeah, I've actually seen like a ramp up in TikTok that it's actually been pushing more content that's less edited, and people are talking a little bit more. I've also seen photos doing really well on TikTok, pushing as well.
I haven't done much with photos because I know you have to have a really good, good words on the screen, right? Something people be engaged in. That's not what I'm strong at. I'm strong at like video content, but I got 1.3 million followers there, so
Mhm.
I got to remember that I got to keep them entertained, right?
Yeah.
Don't want to overboard them, overload them, but I got to keep them entertained. And I have about the same amount of followers on Facebook,
Mhm.
and I got to keep them entertained and keep them going. Where I struggle, where I don't have a lot of viewers. Well, I don't think it's a lot. I have 450,000 on Instagram.
Which
That's
is
a tough
huge,
platform
yeah.
because they were all reels. Go for reels. We want to take down TikTok. Now they're focusing mostly on carousels, photo galleries. They want you to do more of those, and that's my weak point. I don't do a lot of pictures. I don't think they're interesting.
Yeah.
So I got to focus on that. And then anybody that's a content creator, the business suite that Facebook or Meta has, it tells you how many, like people are like, oh my God, what's the secret to be viral on all these platforms? What do I have to do? How many posts? What time of day? It tells you. You could log in. It tells you your goal this week is to do 16 stories, 15 posts on all their platforms. It tells you what you need to do.
Wow.
If you do it, you're going to grow. If you don't do it, it tells you you're great on a Saturday night at midnight. It tells you how you did.
I got to check it out, see if I'm in there.
What, a business? You have this?
Yeah.
You download a business suite?
No, I didn't.
You got it.
I didn't even know that was a thing, honestly. I'm
Yeah,
writing
when you're a
that down
content
right
creator, you got to get that business suite, and it will tell you your goals each week and how to grow your own personal platform. I see. I'm on these Facebook groups about Facebook.
now. Yeah.
And people are like, I have a knitting business and I was blowing up on Facebook for the last 3 years, but I have no growth this year. Well, they didn't pivot, go with the trends, but also they're not paying attention to analytics. They're not seeing what Facebook wants them to do to grow their own personal stuff. If you follow their little guide, it'll help you. You'll get some growth.
Yeah.
And it's nice to have goals.
Yeah, that was actually, I had a conversation with my friend, I want to say Saturday night, where I found myself getting a little stuck, and maybe that was one of the reasons I even took like a little 2-week hiatus, because one of my goals for such a long time, well, not such a long time, but since I started, was I wanted to hit 500 subscribers. And then once I hit the 500 subscribers, I kind of like, I didn't really feel much. I expected to feel this excitement and like I hit this goal. And even when I hit 100, I felt really excited. Like you couldn't tell me.
I've coached some friends on their YouTube channels. And I have a good dear friend of mine that she does sign language.
Yeah.
And from the beginning, I told her what to do. She has like 63,000 followers. People watch that. She's very happy to share the skill with people. A lot of people meet someone that is deaf, and they want to have a conversation with them so they can learn right from her YouTube channel. But what I see a lot of people do have that goal, right? You said 500.
Yeah.
Well, maybe for a YouTuber, it's 100,000. They want to hit 100,000. They hit 100,000, done.
Yeah.
They gas out and they're like, all right, well, I did it. The next award's $1 million. That's like, I'll never get that. I'm done. So I see a lot of YouTubers, they hit that 100,000, they go hard, hit that 100,000, and that's all right, I'm good. I have the plaque, I have the bragging rights, I made it, but they don't grow from there. When I hit $1 million, it was the same thing.
Yeah.
I was like, well, 10 million is the next plateau for Diamond. I'm never going to hit that. But I didn't stop. But I felt that way. I'm like, wow, ooh, I hit $1 million. Got my little balloons and took a picture out in front of my house. That was August of last year. I hit $1 million.
Congratulations.
Thanks. That was a big one because I thought it was never achievable. Like even when I remember the day I hit 100,000, it was 2020. At 100,000, I was like, oh my God, at 100,000. Can you imagine going to a concert with 100,000 people there and looking around and saying, wow, every one of these 100,000 people are my subscribers. That's a lot of people. Even if you have 1,000, try to get together with a group of 1,000 people. If you look at it that way and think, well, these are actual people, like that's a lot of people. 1 million is huge. But how do you have 1 million viewers and have a video that flops and gets 7,000 views in a week? That's hard. That hurts.
Definitely.
You have a lot of subscribers, and some people just weren't around, weren't interested, were busy. Maybe they only watch your short videos, right? They're only interested in that. So that's a tough one to swallow. Like You have big YouTubers like Cletus McFarlane. He has 4.5 million followers, and he does a video and get a million views in like a week. And you're like, how do I get that? How do I get my quarter of that to watch a quarter of that? It's hard. They have to really love you. He's excellent at everything he does. I could admit that I'm not excellent at everything I do. I've excelled and I succeeded in a lot of things in my life that I really put a lot of time and effort into. But that's one thing that I don't have is his full-time business ethic and saying, we're going all in. This is what we're doing. He has the merch. He has all the side businesses from it. He's got his crew. He's got his team. He's got a cool entourage of people. People watch because they want to see the banter between the people and the jokes and the goofing off. I don't have that. I'm a different format. I have guests on my show. So I just have to realize that it will never be what he has with the way I'm doing my content. So, if I do retire from my career and I do YouTube full time, maybe I will take it out on the road and I'll do more of a vlog and some tours and vlog. Maybe people will be interested in what I'm doing and what I have to say and my experiences I share with them. It's exciting to me.
What would be your advice to somebody if they feel like, oh, I hit this goal and they kind of just, I would say flatten out or depleted, like just feel like, oh, okay, I could stop?
So when I hit 1 million on YouTube, I went all in. I really just burnt myself out. I didn't stop making content, but that wasn't as important to me. Then I said, all right, let me get Facebook to 1 million. And I hyper-focused on that. So just because you hit one goal on one platform, there's lots of other platforms. I'm not on X. I don't have really anything on X. Maybe when I hit everything I want to hit on my other platform, I'll focus on that and I'll get that up, right? There's good money to be made there. That's not being made right now.
Yeah.
But my main focus right now is Instagram, since that's the only one that's lagging behind on followers. But there's different people on different platforms. So the same million on TikTok aren't the same million on Facebook. Some of them might follow on both, but like it's a whole different crowd of people. You got to figure what they want versus what they want.
What legacy do you want to leave behind at your job?
That I was an innovator in the RV industry. There was a lot of things I had to beg to do that were never done before. So when I first started selling, before I first started selling Airstreams, I was the webmaster. So I created the website for the inventory and the company store. And, going before that, back in 1997, when I first started with the company, like we had one computer in the whole building.
Wow.
And we had like one email address. And I was like, we all need computers at our desks. Like, this is crazy, but it just wasn't the time, right? But when I first started selling Airstream in 2003, I said, I need a computer. I need to build a CRM, but we're going to build our own using Outlook. And I created this way of keeping people's data and following up and being on a no. Customer calls in, oh, great, Mr. Jones, how you doing? I just spoke to you 4 weeks ago. How's your dog doing? Like, I would blog. I would take all the information as I was talking to people and type it into the computer and have a customer account to it. No one was doing that back then. In 2003, in the RV business, which is always 10 years behind everybody else, they were doing everything on paper. And a customer, hold on, let me flip through my notepad and, oh, are you the guy that was here Friday? Nope. Oh, this guy. Okay. I would have it. I was sharp. People would be so impressed when they called that I knew and remembered them because I had help, because I saved all my notes. And I built a search engine out of it, and I could search guy with German Shepherd, and it would come up. I'm like, oh yeah, that's the guy. So we did that, and that helped us excel. And then we had the first website that had live inventory. Back then, a lot of companies' websites had a list of inventory, no photographs, call us. I built that website off of Apple. So I worked with Apple too at one point, and when customers would call in and say, I want to talk about the iMac, I would know. I have all the specs right in front of me on the computer. Oh yeah, it's got 32 megs of RAM. It's got a 2 gig hard drive or whatever the specs were back then. I would have all the information I'd sell on the computer and have the same database of people. So I just followed that business model with the Airstream. So being an innovator and some of the things we did early on, I would be remembered by. And also too saying, hey, I think we should do YouTube videos back in 2008 and give a tour of the RVs, because like everybody has pictures now. By then, everybody just has pictures of the RVs and did what we did. We were still the first dealer that had live inventory feed. So, as soon as we sold some, it went to pending on our website. And the day it came in, it was on our website, where, a lot of companies had a guy that came in once a week that did the pictures and did the website. So we were live. So that kept us really sharp. But begging to do YouTube videos and saying how it would be beneficial for the company, and having owners that were not well receptive to like new ideas, but trusted me. And that was a huge success, because now I wasn't some scary salesperson on the side of the phone. I was the guy that I watched on YouTube last night giving a 45-minute tour of the RV, and not even a sales pitch, just saying, hey, I love these Airstreams just as much as you. I'm going to tell you all about it. I'm going to give you a tour. I'm going to show you every nut and bolt in this thing. And, they were just scared of us showing the customer too much and the customer saying, thanks, I'm going to go find another dealer and buy one that's closer to me. And some people did that, but it worked out because a lot of people say, I like this guy. I want to buy from him. He's not scary. He's a real guy.
Yeah.
And that helped us excel. And that was like the first in the industry. And that's the kind of things I say, that a lot of the things that I've done, I can't take credit for them all because it was a team and a collective ideas, but to know that we're like groundbreaking on a lot of things. We were the number one Airstream dealer in the country for 14 years straight.
Wow.
And we're number one within the first 3 years of us being an Airstream dealer. Because together, our team there just did an excellent job of changing the experience of buying an Airstream, an RV. Different ways than any other RV dealership ever did it, because that industry, again, 10 years behind everybody else. They did things the old way. There was never a new way. A lot of RV dealers were different to car dealerships. They were mom and pop owned stores, and the owners were close to retirement, and they didn't want to really do anything drastically different. A lot of those stores are corporately owned by big corporations. Now they've turned around and they're, huge successful stores. We've scaled quite a bit too in our time frame that we've been an Airstream dealership, but we also are always looking ahead. I was one of the first dealers to start doing quick tours. Yeah, we do. Everybody does a 45-minute tour now. Well, I'm going to do it in 90 seconds.
Wow.
And tell you everything you need to know in 90 seconds. And we get a lot of views on those because people say, yeah, I didn't really need to watch a full tour. I wasn't necessarily one I wanted to buy or interested in, but I just watched 20 of your short videos. Now I know all the different models.
Which is sick.
Yeah. Yeah, and I could talk really fast too. And I could memorize all the specs. And you could sing-song it almost too. When you get to a certain point, you're like, let's check out a 2022 Airstream Interstate built on the Mercedes-Benz Sprinter 3500 series chassis, 170-inch wheelbase, extended high roof. This has the Mercedes-Benz Sprinter 3-liter turbo diesel engine, 188 horsepower, has a 7-speed transmission, power sliding door, heated tanks, and I could go on and on. I could just rattle off all this. But, I've done it so many times, you could almost sing-song this stuff in a video. But
I was locked into what you were saying.
Yeah.
Like you said, it's engaging.
Yeah. So I would be like point of view behind the camera, filming this stuff, doing it all. Now I do it and I edit the audio and I make it a little bit faster maybe and take out some breathing because I breathe heavily. So, some of that I'll take out. And then people are like, oh my God, this guy just like blasted through this RV in 90 seconds and told me everything I needed to know. And saved me a half hour of my life from watching a full video.
What trends do you see changing now? Because The outdoor lifestyle videos have definitely, like you said, when you first got started, it was pretty much only you, maybe 5 other YouTubers doing it. Now it's 40 plus doing it. So.
Yeah, even more. There's
Yeah.
a lot more people doing that, either because they want to or the company they work for says, hey, we need to do videos like this guy.
Mhm.
Get out there with a camera and start doing videos. And you could tell the ones that aren't comfortable and are forced to do it. They don't want to do it, but their boss made them do it. You know, we have employees there that aren't comfortable talking on video, and we tried to drag them out there and do it. And you could tell in the video they're not comfortable, so we're not going to put them in that position just to create content.
Mhm.
But there's just so many now, and you know, you could get lost in the sauce very easily, and it's very frustrating. You know, I do my videos quick. My quick videos, I could literally go out and shoot it 2 minutes, done, inside, 5 minutes, edit it, on. There's people that spend an entire day to do a 60-second quick video, like entire day, and then they'll put it up and they get like 100 views, and that's so deflating.
You're talking about me.
Yeah, it's just like, what the hell? This thing was so cool.
Yeah.
So don't overdo it.
Yeah.
Just rehearse it and make it. I do most of my videos one take now. Like people always say, oh, we would love to see all your mistakes. I don't have many. Sometimes when I run through an RV, I'll trip, or like my pants will get stuck on something, or like I'll bump my head. Yeah, that happens because I'm just running around. But you know, I try to do it on one take. I've been doing it a long time. I'm doing so many of them that it just becomes second nature. But like when I first did one, yeah, I was like, this is this, you know, whatever. Just didn't go smooth.
Yeah.
But I listened to the comments and people ripped the shit out of me.
That was going to be my next question. If there was ever any like surprising feedback from your audience that made you like switch your content or.
So everybody thinks I'm 5'9". So first of all, I do a lot of my videos in the RVs without my shoes on because I read the comments and people in other countries, they don't wear the shoes in their house. And it's so offensive that I wore my shoes in an RV. So first of all, I take my shoes off.
Wow.
So now I look like I'm 5 feet tall. So the number one comment besides Ray Romano is, this guy is only 5 foot tall. Of course the RV looks huge. No, I'm 5'9". I just look shorter because for one, it's video, it's wide angle, and I don't have shoes on. Don't read comments if you had a bad day. It will make your day worse. Skip a day of reading comments. You could omit offensive words. You could say, all right, if anybody ever mentions this, I don't want to hear it. So you could do that, and that will save you some. But you got to read the comments eventually to learn what viewers think, what they say. How do you think I get ideas for video titles? I'll do a short video and I'll put it on, and people are like, oh my God, like, you know, this video is about XYZ. I'm like, oh my God, I didn't think about that.
Yeah.
Like, they just called it something. And then like 20 other people say the same thing. All right, that's the video title now for when I post it on the next platform. So your audience is your biggest tool. Their analytics, their comments, and their ideas. So I'm not funny. I'm not a funny guy. My viewers, some of them are pretty funny. So they come up with some quirky things, and I'll borrow some of those ideas for my videos.
I never thought about that because the Instagram comment section to me is probably one of the funniest places and also scariest places you could be.
Yeah.
Because it is just wild. The things people say all the time. It's either, like I said, hilarious or scary.
Yeah. And I take risks sometimes. So I did a boat show. I always wanted to get into boats. And I got invited to the boat show to be a content creator. And it was a paid event. So I got paid to show up and create content for them. And I said, hey, could I do content for myself? They said, no problem. Just tag us. So I don't know much about boats, but they're RVs on the water. So what else? What can you not know? I was very careful to try not to offend people by doing something wrong there. And me being not a fisher person, I picked a fishing pole wrong. And I pretended to cast wrong.
Oh my goodness.
And it was the most ridiculous. I was on a wave runner fishing. This was like a wave runner built for fishing, which I thought was ridiculous to begin with. I'm like, I got to do a video of that. Who's going to pay $18,000 for a wave runner that you could fish on? You can't even stand on the thing. It's going to flip over, right? So I thought that was ridiculous enough. I did this video. I got on it. I grabbed the fishing pole. I spun around. I cast it. I put it back in. I opened up a couple compartments, and I waved goodbye. Done video. I got ripped to shit for holding the fishing pole upside down. So I just grabbed it. I didn't even pay attention. I just casted.
Mm-hmm.
That video is like one of my top 3 viral Instagram videos and TikTok videos because everybody's just blasting
The
me.
engagement on it, the comment.
Blast. Like, I can't believe this guy's a fisherman. He doesn't know how to, he's trying to sell boats. Like, I wasn't selling the boat. I was just there creating content. And he's holding the fishing pole wrong. This idiot, and it's like, yeah, that video did pretty good for me. So that video on Instagram, one of the top 3, I think I got like 8,000 or 9,000 new followers because of that video. So someone out there is like, I feel bad for this guy. Let me follow him. Or like, that was cool. What else is he doing? So it was a happy mistake.
That's funny. Because I've seen somebody that they put every Instagram reel they do into like an Excel spreadsheet and write down how many followers they gain from that reel to pretty much replicate the success. Like, all right, I embarrassed myself in this one, then we kind of got to go with that same formula and keep copying it.
Well, it's tough because then you paint yourself in a corner.
Yeah.
So, and I've done that with my van tours because that's like what people expect now. But what if I wanted to do a video on a portable camping kitchen? Like, would my viewers watch it? Probably not.
Mm-hmm.
Will my short form videos viewers watch it? Yeah, probably. But like the Costco guys, good example. They were the Costco guys, right? And their content was all filmed in Costco's and about stuff to do. And they had rapid growth and they're doing very well, but they needed to pivot. So they did that music video with the song. And that blew them up. Like, totally different. They were on Jimmy Fallon, all these talk shows. The dad's a pro wrestler now. Like, all their dreams came true. They did this music video and they like took them a whole nother level. But now, like, where do you go from there, right? So they got a lot of brand deals. They got a lot of money coming in. But like, I'm curious to watch to see where they go from here because they have a good thing going. But like,
I haven't seen them pop up much.
Oh, they pop up. Yeah. And the Rizzler, that 8-year-old kid, man, like the part of the crew.
Yeah, I used to, when they first popped up and all that you're talking about, the music videos, they were on MrBeast, Jimmy Fallon, when they were doing like their whole press run. But I'm talking about like at least recently in the last, let's say 3 months for me, I haven't seen much on their TikTok.
They're doing like man on the street type deal now. With they're going out and asking people things and like, they're doing Boom Meter. They're doing a lot of collaborations, which is very smart. That's one of the reasons why we do this type of stuff, right? The collaboration helps me find new audience and helps you get content. Like, the collaborations is awesome. I would love to do more collaborations. It's just a lot of them don't come my way, or I have to travel a lot to get to them, and being with my full-time commitments, it's almost impossible in some of the things. So I got invited to Super SummerSlam, to do content
WWE.
there. Yeah,
that's super cool.
So I'm curious to see what do they want of me. Some AI generated websites write articles on like top New Jersey influencers. Somehow my name's on that list because New Jersey's in my name and I'm an influencer, I guess, and I have a big following. So like a lot of things, like a car wash was opening and they reached out to like all the local influencers like, hey, we'll pay you to come out and do content. I'm like, what do I do? I do RV. Like, how am I going to incorporate that into a car wash? Like, so I declined some of them because I just don't feel like I'm any value to that company. But I've done charity events I got invited to because I was just on the list. It's not because like, oh my God, we want that guy. I was on a list and I invite all these content creators that could hype up this event. So there's money to be made in that type of stuff.
That's really cool because SummerSlam's gonna be fun if you've never been to one. I'll say
I'm
that.
I'm not a sports person at all.
Yeah.
So I consider that a sport. I am a cyclist.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a creator.
Yeah.
I'm a real estate guy. So I own properties, and I'm a salesperson.
Mm-hmm.
I never got into football, baseball. I've never been to a game ever.
Wow.
Hockey, nothing ever. I don't even watch biking videos
That's cool.
because I just like to bike.
Yeah.
And I'm very mechanical. I could fix and build anything unless it's little tiny parts.
Mm-hmm.
So like when I crashed my drone and I had to rebuild it, that was a struggle. Little tiny screws and little tiny parts. But I could build a huge Airstream. That's easy for me.
That's sick. Because it's funny. I actually don't watch any sports on TV at all. I do go to live sporting events though. I enjoy them, but recently I've just had no time to go anywhere. And I was talking to somebody recently, and they were talking to me about a WWE event, and they were just like, I went to one when I was like 15, 16, and it was probably the best time I had. I thought like I wasn't gonna like it whatsoever, and it was just so, I don't know, the atmosphere in there is fun.
Yeah, and I thought it was a scam at first too, right?
Yeah.
Like talking about the podcast. So I looked, and it came from a WWE email address, and I looked the guy up, and he's like the head PR guy. So I'm like, all right, this is real.
Yeah.
See what happens with it.
I wanted to ask too, because earlier you spoke about how you use Gemini AI. Did you start on Gemini and that was the only one you've tested, or have you tested a few and then found that Gemini was the best one for you?
Because I'm a YouTube partner,
Mm-hmm.
it's always in your best interest to support the company that pays your bills.
Definitely.
So that's why I use Gemini AI.
No.
Because I figure if I'm asking how to help me with YouTube videos and it's a YouTube company, it's probably better than using a third party. But I could be wrong.
No, I completely understand.
Yeah.
I know we spoke about it a little earlier on, but what's your vision for the future? Where do you see yourself maybe in the next 5 to 10 years?
So I definitely would be retired by then
Mm-hmm.
from my career. I think I've done what I need to do there. I'll reach a point where I want to do something else. But I'm going to be 50 years old next year.
Mm-hmm.
I don't feel it. I don't think I
You don't look it at all.
But I'll be 50, and I was like, you look back and like all I did in my whole entire life was work.
Mm-hmm.
I was always a go-getter, always an entrepreneur. I worked my whole life. I didn't do all the cool things that my guests do.
Mm-hmm.
I'm so jealous when I have a guest on and they tell me all the cool things they did, and I'm like, oh man, all I did was work. Like, I have friends that died, and you look back at their life and like they did so much more than me, and they died young, and
Sorry to hear that.
and I'm like, if I was to like find out I was ill tomorrow,
Mm-hmm.
and I was sitting around like, what would I feel like? Like I didn't live my life to the fullest, right? So you reach a certain point in your life, you're like, oh my God, 50 years old. I remember when my dad was 50. I was old. He was an old guy, right?
Yeah.
And retirement age is not that far away. But like when you get to that age, I have a lot of customers that buy Airstreams, and they're retiring. They're going to buy their first Airstream, and they always say like, I wish I did this 10 years ago or 15 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
If you retire early, you could always get a job later in life if you run out of money, right? I guess.
Yeah.
But you build up a certain career and you kind of got it on cruise control. It's hard to give that up.
Mm-hmm.
When you got things going and things are running smooth, to jump off that horse to do something else, that's a hard one. So you don't want to regret it.
Mm-hmm.
I failed at certain things in my life. I was a police officer at one point, short period of time. It's something I always wanted to do. Thought it was what I wanted to do. I got hurt in the police academy, had to resign, and I regretted it. It was a full 2 years. I was like, oh man, I had it in the bag. I was there. I aced the interview. I aced exam. I never aced any exams. I did everything perfect and got in and had to resign. But now I look back that wasn't what my life was supposed to be. I don't like seeing people hurt. and upset. Like, I think long term that would have affected me quite a bit. So maybe it was like a blessing in disguise. I was married once. I had a failure in a marriage. It's didn't work out, but it was tough to get through that and move on with life and work with that person every day.
Wow.
For quite a while and just, see how her life changed and moved on and say, a lot of what happened, what went wrong. But I got over that, and that wasn't the right path for me in life. And that's when I really like doubled down on like doing YouTube, because there's a lot of things I wanted to do. I had resistance at work and in my marriage. Like, I don't want you being a YouTuber. Like, that's weird. Like, people are going to know you. They're going to have fans drive by the house. Still to this day, with that many followers, no one shows up at my house. There's some YouTubers that have like 100,000 followers and are like, they have fans show up at their house. I don't have that. Like, people aren't interested in what I'm doing outside of YouTube.
Do you like that, though? Would you prefer that you have fans showing up at your house? Or are you comfortable with the fact that you have this kind of anonymity?
I think it'd be weird if people showed up at my house. Like, still, like, my neighbors all know. I live a very modest. I have a small ranch. I don't drive. I consider they're not fancy cars, a lot of luxury stuff. My Airstream's super cool. Yeah, like both of them, but like they're old. Like, they're not super fancy. So I live a very modest life. I have investment properties that I have that my neighbors all know about, and they know I do YouTube. But I'm just a regular guy, So I could go anywhere and no one knows. I just blend in. Sometimes once in a while you get someone, when they walk towards you with their mouth open and that look in their eye, like, they know you from somewhere. And then I got to think, all right, what YouTube channel, what platform, what type of video, how do they know me? Mostly my van is more recognizable than me.
Yeah.
So if I'm on a road trip in my van on vacation and people are like waving me down, like, they know the van. They saw it on YouTube, because that video went viral. Like, I was like, my van was a celebrity. It was like the Batmobile when that video came out. People, oh my God, that's the video. Like, I'd be in like New York and Massachusetts or whatever, and people come running towards the van because they know the van. And they're like, who are you? I'm the guy that did the video. So, no, I don't think I'll ever have like a fan base like that. I have a lot of weird requests. Like, people write in, it's just odd stuff. And
what's the weirdest?
They want to buy my socks. So because I have colorful socks in my videos, it just makes it fun. It makes it pop. It's a good thumbnail. But like, they want to buy my used socks. Don't clean them. I have a Cameo set up because there are people that like, hey, my son watches your videos. Like, can you do a birthday video for him? And I only reason I did Cameos is because it protects you as a creator. Last thing you want is like, oh, this guy sent my son a video. Like, if you're on the platform, like, it's paid, they can't manipulate the video, they can't change, it's got the logo in it. It's really like anybody sending anybody like a birthday wish or anything should be done on a platform like that, just to protect you. Yeah, you don't want to just send a random person a video saying happy birthday or congratulations or whatever weird request they have, because you could easily decline it on that platform and not do it. And all the money that I earn on Cameo, which is not a lot, I have it at the minimum. If someone wants to say happy birthday or happy anniversary, like 10, 12, 15 bucks, whatever it is, I donate all that. So the different things I donate, big brother, big sister, where else did I was donating smoke detectors at one point to people that lived in cars and vans. I had a package of them in my van I was giving out. So all that, the money gets to, I don't profit from that at all.
I wanted to ask, what advice would you give to any man, young, old, it doesn't matter, because we all go through heartbreaks, whether it's a high school kid in his first ever relationship that's fallen in love or somebody who just got out of a marriage. What advice would you give them going through that heartbreak, how to get over it and continue? Because nowadays I see it more than ever, and I seen it even myself. I was in a relationship over a year ago, and it killed me, honestly, when it ended. And at first I didn't know how to go through it because I feel like there isn't people really talking about that. They just expect you to just get back to work, put your head down, and then not really talk about it.
Yeah, it's I'm not the best at like social skills and like getting through stuff like that, but I can tell you it in my situation it happened so quick, so sudden, so shocking that you couldn't be prepared for it. And then I worked with that person every day, so I had to come to work with a smile on my face and pretend like nothing happened. And everybody that worked with us just had to pretend that nothing happened. So that was like compounded. It was even more difficult. But I knew that if I did something stupid and that I would lose everything, right? So like if I open my mouth, I could lose everything I worked so hard for. So I just focused on other things. So I kept busy. So that was a big thing. You know, that's when I really got into more videos, and I really got into biking and abandoned places. Like, just keep them busy. Like, if you have time to think about it, like, that sucks.
Yeah.
But if you're doing so many cool things and like, well, I couldn't have lived this life if I was in that other situation. Like, I'm doing all this other stuff now. That will get you through it. And the time does heal.
Yeah.
And then you eventually realize, like, you're grateful. Like, all right, I'm glad that didn't work out. And I'm glad it ended then versus 10 years from now or 20 years from now. So everything happened. I'm a believer in everything happens for a reason. There's a reason why that happened. There was some learning experience that you got from it or will get eventually from it, and you'll grow from it.
Definitely. I could agree with you on that. I'm a big believer more on like it's God's plan. Like you said, you might not realize now, but there's always a light at the end of the tunnel. Like, you'll heal with time, and then you'll see at the end of the day like what there is to take and learn from that situation. Because like you said, maybe it saved you from 10 years of almost like more troubles and then more hurt down the line. I don't know.
Yeah, well, the hardest part that a lot of people have in like a breakup like that is like their justification for the reason why they did it, which might not be why, but it's their justification. So you could live with a lot of guilt from that because like, oh, it was because I didn't buy them flowers on Valentine's Day, or I didn't do this, or I worked too much, right? So, you know, don't live with the guilt of their justification why they left. There's other reasons why they left, and that is just how they justified it and felt better for themselves about it.
What's going to be the first thing you do when you retire?
I want to go on a road trip, and I want to take my Airstream out. So I watch Peter Santinello on YouTube. YouTuber, big following, loyal followers, travels all over the country, films conflicts, depressed areas, urban areas, cool destination areas, but always interviews different people in those areas. So I see a lot of cool places to visit. So just last night, he went to Outer Banks, North Carolina, his video, and I was like, I've never been there before. I always thought it was going to be like this, but like he'll take you down the back roads and meet these people in these little towns and like get the real experience, not the tourist or Google experience that you could find. So like I saw some things there that piqued my interest because there's a big kite surfing community down there and a lot of travelers and vans and like DIY trailers. I'm like, I could go down there, I could hang out with all these people and like film content and enjoy different experience. I have all these cool ways to travel. I just don't have the time to take off that long. So I think I would travel some more. Finish a lot of those projects I haven't finished at home.
What would be, since you said Outer Banks would be your first destination, what would be like your dream destination to go to, maybe outside of the United States?
So, no, it doesn't really appeal to me that much.
Yeah.
Like, there's so much to do. I always say there's so much to do just in New Jersey. So people have to fly out of New Jersey to go somewhere different. When, like, you could go to North Jersey, get a different experience than you can on the Delaware River and South Jersey, the Pine Barrens, the Jersey Shore. Like there's all different areas. So I could do day trips all day long and go to different places in New Jersey. And you get on a darn bike and bike it. Don't drive there and stay in a hotel and just drive your car around. Like get on a bike. You could smell things. You could hear things. You could see things. You could talk to people. You could learn a lot more if you're on foot or on bicycle. So, I think like I need a bigger backyard, right? So yeah, it would be nice to travel and experience the United States, going to Canada, go to Alaska. Like I watch YouTubers that go to Alaska and it's like, it's so damn tough looking.
Yeah.
Like, and you got to really be prepared and plan and go to Baja, Mexico and like chill out on the beach. Like there's a lot of things that I thought like I would definitely want to do, but like as time goes on, like I'm like, yeah, it's not as cool as it was hyped up to be. You know, I get bored easily. So a lot of times I go on vacation. I'm like, I'm here. Now what?
Yeah.
You know, it's like, I want to work on something. I want to do something. I want to create something. I can't just sit around. That's not who I am. So like, I'm always working on vacation, like filming content, meeting people. So I think it would help me grow the channel, having a lot bigger group of people I could have on as guests and more often. Hopefully my viewers have time to watch all these episodes. Or maybe I could just like film a year's worth of content and take some time off and focus on other things and build merch up. Right now I have 22 episodes filmed, done, edited, just in queue.
Wow.
So it's nice to have that.
Yeah, definitely.
So that way if I did get hurt or sick or something like that, I could take the time off and not disappoint my viewers. I sprained my back in December.
How?
Brush my teeth. I'm old, man. Don't remember, I'm old. Yeah. But I fell on ice and I hurt it worse, and then I still biked and I hurt it worse. So, you know, between like mid-December and mid-January, I didn't do much.
Yeah.
First of all, no one wants to come to New Jersey and film a van tour in the snow. That's a hard time of year to create content. That's another one of the reasons why I go to one episode a week. But you know, I was thankful I had that cache of videos already filmed and edited so I could have things come out. And you know, I can film enough episodes where I can take more time off to grow on other areas where I don't have to worry, oh, I need an episode this week. Oh, I need I got to edit it. So, yeah, if I get out on the road and I film more content, I could grow in a lot of other areas where I don't have time to.
Yeah, I'm not judging on the back because when I was 24, I'm 26 now, but I literally sprained my back just walking. I remember I was walking to my HR department at the office, and I just like took a deep breath and I couldn't feel anything, couldn't move, and then that was the worst pain I've ever been with.
Well, I have injuries from being a skateboarder and a mountain biker, and injuries from the police academy. So I got a lot of different things, but I never like got operated on. I don't believe that is always the remedy for it. But, you know, going back to skateboarding days.
Yeah.
So I was an okay skateboarder. I had some friends that were really good. I was always the cameraman. So like this video stuff I do today, I was doing in 1989, 1990, 1991. So I was more interesting to me to videotape and capture what people were doing than actually doing it. So like everybody counted on me and holding this old school camcorder with the VHS tape in it and filming all these skateboard videos. And we still have those videos. They're on YouTube, on some channel somewhere. But so that like I was always the video guy. You know, anybody ever knows me from like my childhood, teenage, young adult, I always had a camera taking pictures or always videotaping something. So I should put up old YouTube videos of like some stuff I filmed in the 90s.
Yeah, it'd be really cool.
Yeah.
Everybody get to see how early you really got started with it.
Yeah. And some of the YouTubers I follow, like they've been at it a long time. They might not have got popular until the last few years, but they've been at it a long time.
I see a ton of YouTubers that their journey was 10, 15 years sometimes
Yeah.
before they even got a decent following, or for what them would be considered a decent
Yeah, so
following.
inspiration for someone that I followed early on that did the abandoned stuff was a guy named Adam the Woo. He's still out there today filming a vlog every single day, but he did all abandoned places and got kicked out of Disney, banned from Universal for life. Like,
Wow.
now he's old. He's in the 50s, and he got back into Disney and does similar vlog. He talks about things.
Yeah.
Talks about, like, experiences, what it's like. It's very interesting, but he does it every single day. But early on, he inspired me with the abandoned places, because I was doing abandoned videos and he was doing them, but he had a bigger audience and he was cooler and a better storyteller to me. So I got a lot of inspiration from him. So when he was in New Jersey and I didn't know about it, I was disappointed, because I would love to meet him and shake his hand and say, hey, I watched you early on. It's been 15 years, I think I've been watching him.
That's impressive. To be able to go at something for 15 years strong, especially when, like, for some, when they have 10 years, nobody following you. Like you said, it's a gut punch for me when I post a TikTok and I get only 2 views. So I can't imagine doing it for 10 years and barely getting any views or following, and then still being like, you know what, I'm still going to do it for fun.
Yeah.
I mean, for me, thankfully, I'm doing something that I love. Like, having conversations is just great, honestly. Just networking with new people, getting to hear their stories. I love it. So I could do this for the rest of my life, and I could only get 100, 200 views. But to me, it's kind of going back to what we were talking about earlier. When I got 100 followers, I posted on my Instagram, and I was ecstatic. I have like a piece of paper, and I did like it's this basketball player. Whenever they score a high amount of points, they hold up like a piece of paper with the number of points. So I did the 100 points with Wilt Chamberlain when he scored 100. And then my next picture was actually a picture of 100 people in a room. And I was like, this is insane, because at that point, even now, if you asked me to stand in front of 100 people and like have a speech or do whatever, I'd get so nervous and I'd be like, this is intense. But when you see a number 100 on a YouTube video, you don't think it's a lot. So I had to change my mindset and be like, that's a lot of freaking people listening to me, and I love it.
I've had videos that I lost 100 subscribers from, because they subscribed because they watched 3 other videos, and then I did a different type of video. Then I have videos that I got 100,000 subscribers from, like one video.
Wow.
So it's like, it's crazy. Like, you don't know what you're going to get. So it's all averages, I guess, at one point. One more thing I want to bring up to you too, which I see a lot of YouTubers, especially in the van life world, get frustrated with themselves, is they pivot too late.
Yeah.
So like, you paint yourself you do a certain thing. A lot of the van life influencers came out in 2019, 2020, young 20s, right? They're at the age, they're adventurous. So people subscribe to their channel because they're like, this is so inspiring. They're in their 20s, they're traveling. I want to see all the places to go. Well, time goes on.
Yeah.
They get engaged. They get married. They buy a house. They have kids. And a lot of viewers drop off because you're no longer that cool young couple that are doing all these cool things. Now you're doing videos about replacing a toilet in your house.
Yeah.
But some YouTubers have been very creative and slowly transition their viewership to watch those types of videos. I love to see the ones that are successful at, because sometimes when people announce an engagement on Instagram, I'm like, oh no, all the guys that were in love with the girl and all the girls are in love with the guy, like now they're like, they'll see a steep decline in subscribers or followers. But if they're clever about it and they're creators, they could prepare themselves for these announcements that may help them and might hurt them, and grow a whole new audience.
Yeah.
Right? Because, all right, those people that used to watch me, they're not interested anymore. How do I get new followers, right? New subscribers, and they make that pivot. It's hard when they have all these life changes and they're still trying to do the same content for the different crowd that they had back then. So I love seeing success stories. I love seeing people succeed. There's no jealousy there.
That's
like
really
if they
cool.
could kill it and make an awesome living and have a good lifestyle from it, and take their viewers along for the ride. That's awesome. That's my dream.
I believe in you. I definitely think you're going to do a great job. You've already done a great job. It seems like whenever you apply your head to something, you just succeed, which is sick to see. Because with this podcast, I created it in order for, honestly, I tell a few people, like, it's for my friends so I could inspire them a little bit just to start their content creation journey. But another reason is also for myself, to kind of inspire myself and, like, meet other entrepreneurs and see kind of what gets them going, why they do it, what's their drive. Because maybe I'm not motivated all the time, and I've learned that motivation is very fleeting. Like, you're not on your journey. Like, if you're looking to be motivated 24/7, it's just going to be a sad reality, because discipline and consistency is way more important than motivation, because you need to show up every day for yourself. But it's really cool to have conversations like this and just hear where you're coming from. And like I said, I definitely believe you'll be able to make the pivot easily.
Yeah. Pivot's tough, but hope you guys are in for the ride.
I wanted to cut it there. I don't want to take up any more of your time, but I just wanted to also thank you for coming out there. I know it was a long drive and also late after work, so I say this to all my guests at the end, but I really do appreciate you coming here, taking the time to have this conversation with me and giving me so many gems throughout the episode. Honestly, like, when I listen back to it, I'm going to have to take notes, because I'm like, this is stuff that if you're a content creator, you're in the YouTube, you're in the Instagram, Facebook, you better be taking notes when you're listening.
My book will be on sale next week.
Definitely. Listen, but just thank you. We'll cut it there.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you very much for the opportunity for coming on and taking the risk to email me. I always wonder, like, what that's like on the other side of the computer, where someone's like, let me send this guy an email and ask. We'll see what happens. You know, and I'm just a real guy, so I'm responsive. Unless I think it's a scam.
I have to say, for that, I used to be so scared, honestly. And I used to not even take the risk. But now I've learned there's a lot of genuine people like you know what I mean? There's a lot of people that just want to tell their stories. There's a lot of people who don't mind just hopping on a podcast and talking. I was always so scared, like, why would people ever come talk to me, you know?
So everything's a sale, right? No matter what you do in life, you're a salesperson, right? So you're not going to get the sale unless you ask for it.
Exactly.
Right? So this is a sale. You got me on the podcast. We talked about a lot of cool things because you asked.
Yeah.
If you didn't ask, you wouldn't have gotten the sale.
Thank you, brother.
All right.